So when we decided that we were coming to Mexico, a lot of you warned us about the dangers of traveling in Mexico, but sadly, it seems like it's just kind of unavoidable.
This is the US government website about Mexico travel advisory, but this happens to be exactly where we need to go.
We're Levi and Leah, a Canadian couple living out of our Toyota Prius to complete a road trip of a lifetime.
We left our apartment in the city to spend the next year circumnavigating North America.
Last week, we took an 18-hour ferry from Baja to Mexico.
And this week, we're heading into the mainland as we say goodbye to Levi's parents and prepare to drive through some of the most dangerous parts of Mexico.
Well, that's Dad's underwear that he washed last night. It's, yeah, pretty frozen. Oh my God. Yes, good morning and welcome to our campsite here in Mexico. We're in Mexico right now. We're in the mountains just east of Mazatlan, and it is freezing cold. We left this tub of water out last night and it has ice all over the top of it. Oh my God.
All right, so we have successfully thawed ourselves out and we're about to leave to go to a place that we never thought we would go to.
So the government of Canada has put a travel advisory on the state of Durango. They weren't very particular about where, but we're still gonna go there.
Now, of course, you're asking why on earth would you go to a place that the government of Canada has said that it is having a travel advisory? This is dangerous, this is stupid. Well, it's all because of these guys. They are going all the way up to Chihuahua, which is another place that the government of Canada really recommends that you do not go. So we're taking them as far as we can justify before we start going south. Can you tell people why you want to go to Chihuahua?
I want to go to Chihuahua because that is where rumor has it, or the family history is, that my grandfather's brother moved there at the turn of the century. There wasn't enough Mennonite freedom, and they weren't allowed enough privilege in Canada, so they moved to Mexico.
So you're gonna bring your Mennonite-inspired furniture to the Mennonite colony of Chihuahua.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this is where we camped the last 2 nights. We are in what is sort of designated as a national forest outside of Durango. I would say this is the closest that we have come to boondocking or dry camping here in Mexico. We've really tried to stick to designated campgrounds because of the safety thing. And we'll be maintaining that same practice as we go into Durango. And we're gonna be very cautious, we're gonna be very safe. We're following all the rules, right? It's a risk, but it's a calculated risk. Okay, well, we've stopped here in a town with a name I forget on our way to Durango. Apparently it's called El Salto, and this is probably the least touristy place we have been in Mexico. This is very Mexican in feel, in vibe. We are legitimately drawing stares, and it's not because I'm carrying this camera. I think it's because they just don't see a lot of...
It's because I'm so good looking.
Exactly. Well, here's the local horse blocking the road. Whose horse is that? Well, we just picked up all the groceries. We're basically ready to go. Things are definitely cheaper here.
Yeah, how much was it?
That was 200 pesos for a bunch of fruit and veg.
That's awesome.
And a bunch of other stuff. This is pretty wild.
So that little town that we were just in was off of one of the free highways. So you'll see a sign that says Libre for free. But what we have mainly been on since we've been on the mainland is the toll roads. It was a bit of a trick figuring out how to prepay for the toll roads, but Levi's mom and I got these Televia things, so we can just go straight through and it taps here and you can just load it at all different like gas stations along the way.
I was blown away with how expensive the toll roads are here. Just this trip from Mazatlan to Durango is going to cost us well over 600 pesos, which is like $30 American. But the reason why you do it is because the roads are much better maintained and they're safer.
And especially for us, as a couple of tourists, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go for safer and better maintained roads. So we are approaching a toll thing now. And as long as we have this on the dash, it should be able to just read it when we go through.
This has worked pretty well so far. Let's see if this does the trick.
Maybe not.
Oh. Okay. Oh.
Oh, he's got to hold it in a certain place.
Oh, okay.
Gracias.
Okay. I guess I didn't hold it in the right spot. But normally this thing works really well. You just kind of put it on your dash and then you get automatically buzzed through.
So this one was 115 pesos. And I think the most expensive one we've gone through so far was 360 pesos. So I can imagine for a lot of people who live in Mexico, yeah, you'd kind of avoid toll roads if you could.
Ya hacia el oeste, igual, ¿verdad? Como venían así, allá más adelante.
¿Cuántos kilómetros?
20 minutos. 20.
So this is where we were going to be staying tonight. It's a John Wayne themed campground, but sadly, as you can see, there's a film set here, and so we can't stay there for some reason. That was another bust. I don't even know.
I don't know. There's homestay. I don't know what that is. This even has a sign for camping.
So part of the problem here is that this is like kind of one of the last nights we have here with my parents. Like, we're trying to make this special because my mom's birthday is in a couple of weeks. Like, we're trying to make this kind of like a nice send-off, and you know, here we are facing the realities of life on the road, and I think we're all tired. It's just this is just not what we wanted.
Yeah. We thought we had such a clear plan of going to this place, and it sounded really cool.
And it's just not working out.
No.
The other option is the one that we told you guys about before, which is the like pools thing, where there's like various hot springs and stuff, and it's definitely camping. Like, that's the whole thing. It is 24 minutes away. I think we're kind of running out of options. So the sun is almost down, but we've actually made it to a place where we can camp for the night. We're so bagged, we're gonna turn off the camera for now, but in the morning we're gonna show you where we arrived because it is very, very interesting.
So are you supposed to shower after this?
Well, welcome to the hot springs at the campground that we're staying at. This is somehow one of the cheapest places we've stayed in Mexico so far, and it's got 9 pools.
Hot. No,
What are you doing? So this whole area, which we're gonna show you in a minute, is heated by some natural springs, which are just over there. And this place is completely empty other than us.
There's 2 people over there.
night, everybody. There's too many mosquitoes. Well, we had a glorious, lovely day here yesterday, and obviously woke up to a glorious, wonderful day here this morning. It's hard to believe that we're in like what is considered one of the more dangerous parts of Mexico, because inside of this little campground it's like beautiful and lovely. But today my parents are heading up to Chihuahua, and another adventure begins, because we're going to be heading south through some even more dangerous areas as well. But first we're going to enjoy this.
Mom tries to eat. Of course, I'm filming her, so she
Why are you filming?
she misses her mouth.
It'll be over soon.
You're gonna miss us.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Just having a moment.
It's okay.
They'll be fine. They'll be safe.
And now we go. So we are on our way back down to Bucerias, where we're going to be visiting some friends, and the route to get there is really between a bad option and a sketchy option.
Yeah, we talked to this couple from Switzerland who had just come up from that way, and the mountain pass that they took, it sounds like the road was like non-existent for part of it, but the other road takes us through the province of Zacatecas, which apparently is quite dangerous. Canadiense.
Canada.
Yeah.
Compañero.
So you go over here.
Okay.
Ahí te metes a la derecha.
Gracias.
Okay. Gracias.
Okay, so we're being taken over here to the side, and I guess we're gonna have another conversation here.
It'll be about our permit and stuff. I don't know if they need
He's got like finger knuckle punching things.
Oh.
Hola.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Buenos días. La TIPP. Yo estudio el español en Ensenada para 3 días y solo...
Yo solo hablo un poco eso.
Español en Ensenada.
Sí.
Ensenada, Baja California.
Sí, sí.
Sí.
Sí, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Sí.
Mi cerebro es...
Muy cansado from
Muy cansado.
mucho español por 2 meses. Yeah. Levi's practicing his Spanish, telling them about how his parents are going north and we're going south, and they're checking our permit. I think that's... And the action packer. They're always interested in the action packer. But we'll see. I think they're doing too much else. Levi's smiling, so I take that as a good sign.
Mazatlán. Sí. Mucho Pacífico en Mazatlán.
Yeah, me gustan. Gracias. Hasta luego.
Wow. Okay, so that was intense. We haven't been like stopped and like told to pull over and actually like talk to the people who are at these military checkpoints. And for the first little bit, I was a little nervous, but then...
Because they wanted me to come out too, and they wanted to look at the permits.
But then as soon as they realized that like we were trying to speak Spanish and like we were like really giving it our all, immediately it was like we were all buddies and we were having a great time.
It was really nice. You know what the main difference was for me was we started talking and then they took the masks down off their faces so we could see them smiling and talking to us.
Yeah. I think that they are very serious. I think that they give people hell sometimes, but we gave them paperwork that was not our actual identification because we were told that sometimes they can kind of like hold those hostage and ask for money. So we kind of like knew a little bit about that, and then we were really friendly and we were trying our best, and that actually worked super, super well.
Right? And then they started asking us like, oh, in Mazatlan, did you try the seafood? Have you had the beer? And we're like, yeah, we've eaten all the things. But I said, like, Mexican people are so nice, and we had to practice. And then I thanked him for practicing Spanish with us.
Honestly, that was a little nerve-wracking, but it actually went pretty well.
Yeah, that was really nice. Considering we're heading into, literally, we just left Durango and now we're going into Zacatecas, that was a nice introduction.
Considering that Zacatecas is supposed to be one of the most dangerous places in Mexico right now.
Yeah.
Well, this is where we pulled into last night. It's this really cute hotel that has this area for RVs and stuff to park. There's power, water, and fruit trees like everywhere.
There is guava all over the place here.
Right, it's amazing. So there's a guava tree here, like covered and laden with fruit. This is a little orange tree. And over here, this is a big lime tree. It's so beautiful, filled with limes. And a pomegranate tree over here.
So we're here in Aguas Calientes, which is a city that we tried to avoid because it is apparently quite dangerous here.
We tried to stay in a little town just north of here. The place that I found on Overlander doesn't really exist. So after trying out a few dirt roads, we got back on the main highway, the toll road, and ended up here in Aguas Calientes.
Our original plan was to arrive in Aguas Calientes and then maybe just find a way to get on to the next stop, but we actually really like it here, and we've booked another 2 nights here where we're staying. And it's not just for the fruit trees.
So last night we went to the center of town where there's a main plaza, there's a really amazing museum, and we were surprised at how many people were out, how beautiful this whole city was when we had never even heard of it before.
When you are told that a place is going to be dangerous and that you shouldn't be there, you sort of like imagine gunfire and like chaos and like things on fire in the streets or something. And Aguas Calientes couldn't be anything further from that. It's one of the most beautiful cities that we have been in Mexico so far, and we had an amazing meal out at an Italian restaurant, and we were blown away by the incredible vibrancy of this place.
This is so great. I love it. So this downtown square area goes on for ages. Like we've been walking for like 20-30 minutes, and there's just like an endless stream of stores and tienditas.
And places selling food. I'm hungry already. So I have tried to map out areas of Mexico that we should avoid, but we're also listening to people who have been there. You learn a lot from different people who are traveling, overlanders, people who live there, who are actually telling you where you should and shouldn't go. Definitely there are places that we are not going to go to, but we just talked to a couple who just came from Aguas Calientes and had a wonderful time here.
The government websites that issue travel advisories are always going to be taking the most conservative approach because they can't, in all decency, recommend that you go to a place where there is any likelihood that you might get kidnapped or robbed. We've had a ton of comments from people who love our content and have watched every single video warning us that we got to be really careful while we are here in Mexico. And we love and appreciate all of you because that's just so kind that you care about us in that way.
We take all of those things to heart and we really consider them. And there were a lot of ways that we tried to avoid going through certain dangerous areas, but some of them are unavoidable. If you're gonna be driving across the country, the only way we could avoid them was to get on a plane.
Yeah.
Like,
If you want to see how this adventure continues for the next couple of months, subscribe, and we'll see you next Saturday.
thanks so much, everyone. Bye. You have some in a little bit in your teeth.
Really?
I'm sorry, I didn't see it till now. It's at the back here.
This whole time?
There's only a little bit.
Why did I marry you if you're not gonna friggin' tell me when I have stuff in my
I
teeth?
didn't see until you open your mouth really wide. It's like right here at the back.
Bye, everyone.
So my parents just left and we went to start the car to leave, and it won't start for some reason. So we're trying to figure out what the hell just happened.
Yeah, it is.
What I'm worried about is in here you can actually hear something. I really hope this is just a dead battery.